everyone, I want to go over how to get started using Pixlr X for the summer web design project. And since we haven't worked with graphics in a while, I wanted to review how to use Pixlr. So we're on Pixlr X, which works on a Chromebook, and we're going to do two things. One, we're going to take a picture of ourselves, and you can do that on your phone or with a Chromebook camera or whatever. And then we're going to crop it to a square and resize it so it's a certain size. And then we're going to create 3 images, summer images, so that we can use those for a carousel on the page. So let's hop to it. After you've taken the picture of yourself, you're going to open the image. So wherever you have that saved, you'll open the image. Then you're going to click the crop to a square, well, the crop button, and then you're going to come over where it says select aspect and check that on. And we want to tell it to use the square preset. Then you're just basically going to put it around your head or whatever part of the picture you would want to use, like this, and you're going to hit apply. Now that's all fine, except it's the wrong size. We need it to be 250 pixels square. So we'll use the properties button, the top button here, click resize image, and then type in 250. And that little bottom button should be switched on. Mine automatically was, so yours should be. And so that it's 250 square, because it's already a square, so these need to be the same number. Then hit apply, and now you'll have your 250 pixel image. And then you're just going to click on save, give it a name. I would name it me, and then let it be a JPEG. And just hit download and put that into your project folder, which of course you need to have an images folder to put all of these into. All right, so once I've got that one done, and I've already got mine saved, then you go back to the house, and this will show as your active image, but you can hit X once you've got it saved and you're done with it. And then you're ready to create your summer images. Now we're using Pixlr as opposed to some of the other online tools because Pixlr has stock photos and stuff built into it, so then we don't have to go to Google and find pictures and save them and open them and all of that. So for this situation, we need these all to be the exact same size. So we're going to click on Create New, and you need to just settle on a size. There are some suggestions in here for web, like for instance, Web 720. If I click on that, though, it's going to set it to 1280 by 720, which means we're going to have a pretty, like, squarish, well, a big image. We don't want it to be near that tall. So my suggestion would be something no bigger than the ratio of 1200 by 400 on that height. And it just depends on whether you want, like, a really long banner that's, like, skinnier or whether you want a taller banner. So you just kind of have to decide what you want. I'm going to do, let's say 1600 by 400. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to hit create. All right, I kind of like that. Just remember, whatever you have, depending on how your page stretches, you know, it's going to have to scale up and down. All right, so once you've got your size, write it down because you're going to have to create 3 of these. So you want to make sure they all match. Okay, so once I'm in here and I have my size, probably need to zoom out so you can see a little bit of what's going on. And then you're going to click over here on the Add Image button. This is going to allow you to access their stock footage, so click Stock, and then you can search. Ooh, cookies. So you're going to search for things that you like about summer. So you could just type the word summer in if you're kind of blanking on ideas right now. When you hit Enter, then it'll give you some summer things. So let's say I like the beach. So I'll click on that. It's going to ask you a question. We want to add it to our current document. We don't want to start over because we set the size already. So click Add Current. That's going to, and it takes a second on this. It's like loading these pictures, and they're pretty big pictures. So if you zoom out now, you'll see the edges of this picture. See how far out that is? Because it's actually a big rectangle, and we need it to be a more condensed rectangle, so not as tall. So now you're going to have to pull in to decide what part of that picture you want, because you can't show all of the picture. So you have to decide. Like clearly I need to have a little bit of the horizon line, plus I want the sun, plus I want the beach. This is pretty good for me. Just be sure that it covers your entire canvas size. All right, so once that looks, yeah, that looks pretty good. Go ahead and click Close over here on the Add Image one. And again, it may take a sec. And now we need to add our text. Each of yours needs to have text on it, and you need to make sure that that text is readable. You might want to write down your text size and your font so that it matches. So I'm going to click over here on text, and then click on this little T with the dot, 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 because that's going to add it, but it's going to bring up more options, which are these down here. And so this is where you can go through and say, all right, I want whatever font that I want. If we were at school, you could add local fonts. but we're not. So you would just have to choose a font. So say I like this Arctic font. I might want to, make sure that I write down whichever font that I'm choosing for this. And then put in what you're going to have. So love the beach. And I guess I didn't highlight that. I thought you didn't have to highlight it to do it, but I guess you do. Okay, there we go. So love the beach. If I want it bold, I could click bold or whatever. Choose your color, and so it needs to be visible. So like if I was sticking this here, this would not be a good color choice for this because clearly white on a really light background, not going to work. If I were putting it over here, it would probably be fine. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to scale it up. Okay, about so. So I'm using size 131. And again, probably a good idea to write down the font and the size that you're using so you can make them all match. And then, of course, think about the longest one you would have. So if I was going to do a really long one, then I might need to make this font smaller so that my longest one would fit. There's a button on here for background. You can put the box or the words in a box. So if you want to, you can choose to put a background. There's also outline down here, and I had to scroll down to get to that. And there's shadow. So if you want to give it a shadow, I think that looks better with a shadow, then you can give it a shadow. Okay, that's pretty much it. Again, there's additional things here. You can mess with the shadow, the blur, all those different options. But whatever you do, I would write it down so they all match. Okay, once you have that, now you're ready to download this first one. So I'm going to hit save, and then you're going to download it. And again, I'm all about easy naming. So like this is my first one. I'm going to call it Summer 1 because, that makes sense. And put it in that same folder that you're putting all the rest of them in. I already have a Summer 1, so I'll put a Summer 2. Okay. And then you can start over, or you could, now that you're already in here, these are on layers, right? So here's the first picture on layers. So you could try to put over the top. You can delete these layers, and then you could go edit these. So like I could come back in here to my text layer that says love the beach, and I could be like sun, 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 because I've already saved the first one. So that's all taken care of, and now I can go in here and just replace this picture. So I'll go back into stock. Let's say sunny. That's what I'm going to look for. I don't know, none of these are really exactly what I'm looking for, but we'll just do this one here where I've got a sky. Click add current. Give it a second because it's going to take a minute. And then we've got our new one. Now the other one is still in here. So I'm going to delete the other layer. So that just turns it on and off. But you can delete the layer over here somewhere. There we go. Delete. All right. So now I've got this one. I'm going to scoot it down. So my sun, sun, sun's in front of it. And then, of course, I can decide where I want to put this one. Maybe this one I want to put in this corner. And then that's it. I'm ready to save the second one. So now I've got, Summer 3 or Summer 2 or whatever one that you're on. And download that into the folder. So you need to have all three of your summer pictures, and then you need to have your square picture of you that's resized to 250. And that's basically the starting point there. Now, it's possible you might need an icon. If you need an icon for something, then you're probably going to have to start again from the beginning. And then again, we can create new, and we can choose a specific size. And for icons, we usually want them to be pretty small, so like 25 by 25. And it's hard to see because it's tiny little baby. I'm zooming up, but still even we can't see a whole lot here. And then if you were creating icons, this is where it would be a lot more complicated in here because their stock images are not necessarily going to have clear backgrounds. You could try, I don't know that I'm going to have a lot of luck with sun clip art here because see, they're really not going to come up as clip art. But let's say that I chose this one. This is going to be so big. I'm going to hit add current. Well, it scaled it down. And then you could go through here and pick out whatever it is you want it to be. Now, again, it needs to take up most of that 25 pixels. So I'm zooming that up. Okay, and then there are options over here where you can cut out. So you can click on an image. Let me click on that image layer, and then I can do a cutout here. So we have like magic cutout and shape cutout, and there's a lasso cutout. So there's all these different ones, and you can tell it, what do you want to move? You want to keep it or do you want to remove it? So like I could go on the magic cutout, which is like a magic wand. I could set it on remove, and I could try to remove the background and see it kind of does it a little bit. It's not like the greatest ever, but you know, it's there. And then I could set it on paintbrush and on remove and just use a tiny paintbrush and get rid of like the bottom part here, like these little parts. So like, not that this is the absolute greatest, you might just be better off to go find you a picture and download a picture, and then just resize the picture in here and then just save it out as a PNG. Now remember, with bullets, they're going to have to be PNG files. So this is actually way littler than this, but I would hit save, and then since it's going to be transparent, it's a really ugly bullet, but I'm going to call this Sunny Bullet, and it needs to be a PNG. Okay, so you might want to go ahead and have a bullet just in the event at some point you decide to add in a bulleted list that you already have one that matches your theme. And again, you could just go out and find a transparent graphic and then just bring it in here. Simply go into resize and resize it to 25. Or like we did before, crop it to a square first and then resize it to 25. All right, so hop to it at getting your graphics for your project.